You walk into a room full of new people, and suddenly, you don't feel like yourself anymore. It's subtle at first. A small shift in your body, a slight tension in your chest. Your breathing becomes just a little more noticeable. Then it builds. Your thoughts start speeding up, and you become aware of things you never think about when you're alone. How you're standing, where your hands are, what your face looks like when you're not actively controlling it. You start adjusting yourself without even realizing it, standing a little straighter, trying to look more relaxed, trying to seem normal. But the more you try, the less natural everything feels. Even simple things start to feel complicated. Where do you look? How long is too long to hold eye contact? Are you smiling too much or not enough? Your mind starts running simulations. You think before every word, replaying sentences in your head before you even say them. Sometimes you decide not to say anything at all, because it feels safer that way. Then the overthinking begins. You say something small, something completely normal, and a second later, your mind grabs onto it. You start questioning it, replaying it, analyzing it. You wonder if it sounded weird, if you should have said it differently, if people noticed something off. You replay the moment again and again, while the conversation is still happening around you. But you're not really part of it anymore. You're inside your own head, reviewing something that no one else is even thinking about. You start noticing everything about yourself. The way you're standing, the tone of your voice, the timing of your reactions. You laugh and immediately wonder if it sounded fake. You go quiet and start worrying that now you seem awkward. And slowly, a feeling starts to grow. It feels like you're being watched, not just seen, but evaluated. Like there's some kind of silent judgment happening around you, even if there isn't. Logically, you know this doesn't make sense. You know people aren't analyzing you this much. But it still feels real. It feels like you're the only one who doesn't know how to act, like everyone else understands something you don't. They seem relaxed, natural, effortless, and you feel calculated. Every movement feels intentional. Every word feels measured. And that gap between you and them only makes the discomfort stronger. So, why does this happen? Why does being around new people trigger this reaction? It's not just shyness, and it's not just a lack of confidence. What you're experiencing is hyper-awareness. Your brain is scanning everything, not just the environment, but you. It's trying to predict how others see you, how they interpret your words, your tone, your behavior. Most importantly, it's trying to figure out whether you're being accepted or rejected. And to your brain, that matters more than you think. The problem is that when you're around new people, your brain doesn't have enough information. It doesn't know what they think about you, and it doesn't know how they're going to react. And the human brain doesn't like uncertainty. So it fills in the gaps. But it doesn't fill them with neutral assumptions. It fills them with negative ones. You start thinking that people don't like you, that you don't belong, that something about you is off. Once those thoughts appear, your body reacts. You feel more tension, more awareness, more pressure, and that creates even more overthinking, which keeps the cycle going. For most people, this pattern didn't start recently. It started much earlier. At some point in your life, you learned that being yourself wasn't always safe. Maybe you were judged. Maybe you were ignored. Maybe you felt like you didn't fit in. Whatever it was, your brain adapted. It created a system designed to protect you from that feeling. It started monitoring everything: your tone, your expressions, your behavior. Not so you could express yourself freely, but so you could avoid rejection. Over time, this became automatic. Now, whenever you're around new people, your brain switches into protection mode. It doesn't ask if you're in danger. It just assumes that you might be. so it makes you more alert, more aware, more controlled. But the same system that protects you also disconnects you. Because instead of being present, you're observing yourself from the outside. You're not fully in the moment. You're split in two. One part of you is trying to interact, while the other is watching, analyzing, and correcting everything you do. This is why it feels so draining. Even if nothing bad happens, even if everything goes fine, you still leave feeling tired. Because your brain never stopped working. It was active the entire time, trying to manage how you're perceived, trying to prevent mistakes, trying to keep you safe. But in doing that, it never lets you relax. What most people don't realize is that this feeling isn't a flaw. It's a learned response. Your brain became careful, too careful. And over time, that caution turned into tension. That tension created distance, and that distance made you feel like you don't belong, even in places where you actually do. The truth is that most people are not focused on you. They're focused on themselves, their own thoughts, their own insecurities, their own behavior. But your mind creates something else. It creates a spotlight, and it puts you under it. It feels real, but it isn't. And the more you believe that spotlight is real, the stronger your discomfort becomes. So, what can you do? It doesn't start with trying to be confident. That usually makes things worse, because now you're not just being watched, you're also performing. Instead, it starts with shifting your attention away from yourself and toward the moment, toward the person in front of you, toward what's actually happening, not what you think is happening. Because the more attention you give to yourself, the more intense the discomfort becomes. At first, this feels unnatural. Your mind will keep pulling you back into analysis and self-awareness. But if you keep redirecting your focus, something starts to change. You feel less observed, less controlled, more present, more natural. Not immediately, but gradually. Over time, your brain begins to learn something new. That being around people isn't dangerous. That you don't need to monitor everything. That you don't need to be perfect to be accepted. And that discomfort, that tension, that constant awareness slowly starts to fade. Not because you forced it away, but because you stopped feeding it.